When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply. When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Hashtag no music, no intro. It is here. The 2023 draft week is upon us. We are recording this Monday night. This will be posted Tuesday morning, which means that by the time you're listening to this, they will be 2 days away from the first night of the NFL draft. We as a podcast family, the hashtag Saints Twitter podcast, a good bit of us will be congregating in New Orleans. I get to New Orleans on Wednesday. We're having our draft live stream party on Thursday at a undisclosed location. You can only know where that location is if you're a Patreon. And honestly, at this point, I think we have like maybe 1 or 2 spots left just because of capacity. So if you haven't RSVP'd by now, you might be a little too late. But if just in case you're not, reach out to either Ryan or I, and we can see if we can fit you in. But it's time, man. And this is probably the most interesting draft week I have been a part of in a while. Just because I'm coming from a standpoint of just a mostly blank slate.
Yeah.
In terms of prospects. And I have not been able to say that since like before the Jonathan Sullivan draft, bro. Like it's been a minute since I have been this blank of not knowing, or purposely have been obtuse in keeping my opinions of prospects of not knowing at all.
Man, it's crazy. I mean, I did that the year I got married. That was 2019. I just didn't have time. Like I just did not look at the draft at all. In 19, that was that two
Eric
first
McCoy.
or that Eric McCoy? Yeah, that was Eric McCoy. So it was kind of like, we ain't got no first round pick, so I ain't gonna worry about it. You know what I'm saying? They drafted Eric McCoy. It was like, okay, cool, whatever. 2020. Did we really look? Well, yeah, we had the podcast, right?
Yeah, we started the podcast. Yeah, well, we have hit our 3-year anniversary. So either this, yeah, it had to be last month. Oh,
that's crazy. I retweeted that. Who first clip earlier today? Just that's crazy because like that was a year, almost a year into the podcast right there, man. This is crazy. Like how long we've been on. Just it's just nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, a podcast that's supposed to be one episode.
One episode at the most.
The most.
And now we have at least maybe close to 20 people joining us on Thursday.
Friends.
Friends.
That's my crew right there, man.
Family from the UK, from Pennsylvania, from all over, bro. Just it's wild
right there, man. Like what?
It's wild. I can safely say that the amount of alcohol I will consume this upcoming week I have not consumed that much alcohol since the last time I was in New Orleans. And the funny thing is, like, I held it was fine. Like we had a good time at the big meetup in October, and not once did I even get the sense of like, oh shit, I'm buzzed. No, bro, I was good. I was good. That's the best.
Man, Daniel coming, bro. Daniel coming. Daniel coming to that thing like Thanos, you heard me? Oh shit!
When he ride on Titan, bro, in Infinity.
Oh shit! Here we go. Here we go.
So a reason why we wanted to put this episode out, one being we did an episode last week, but that was just for our Patreon only episode that had the prospect matching data. We did a podcast episode on it. The actual list is on our Patreon. What's insane to me since we've done that episode is, you know, you'll see an Albert Wilson or whoever will just tweet out, you know, a visit. You know, the Saints visited with a prospect, or they had this prospect in for a private workout, and everyone they have met, bruh, is on the list. Bro. It's insane, bruh. Like,
it's crazy. Even names like I wasn't even focused on. I was like, oh, I go back and check the list. I'm like, oh, he's right there.
I told a friend earlier today. I said, "This is really the cheat code, bro." Like, you know, back in school. In school, you get to have like, what is it, the white or the cheat sheet, or you put it on like an index card, bro. If you're a draftnik and if you want to know who the Saints are likely to draft in this upcoming draft, you got to look at that list. That's all I'll say. But we felt that obviously not everyone is Patreon, so we at least wanted to put this episode out this week before the draft with everything happening this upcoming week. We don't know what our schedule is going to be. We don't know when we're going to be able to record. We're going to have to record either Friday morning, Thursday night to do like a recap for round one. I don't know, bro.
I don't know.
I don't know. So at least we wanted to get something up prior to the draft. I'll start here. I'll start with this. There's a lot of buzz right now about, you know, Daniel Jeremiah, Tony Pauline, a lot of people connecting Kalijah Clancy, defensive tackle of Pitt, to the Saints at 29. I saw so much of it recently that I broke down a little bit, and I watched like a game and a half of his. I watched the game and a half of his, and I was just like, am I going to see anything in this game?
Don't you hate those?
Bruh, he didn't. In a game and a half, he made one positive play, and the rest of the plays, he was either not a non-factor or just getting bullied by offensive linemen because he's so undersized. Like, it would just be the most Saintsy thing ever. I don't know how I feel about it, and I don't want to I'm trying not to come down too hard because we've done that in the past with Alontae Taylor and P.J. Warner, and we've been wrong. So I'm tread a little carefully about how I say these things, but I'm just like, is that really the dude they would have drafted 29? I don't know, bro. I didn't watch every cut up of his, every game that's available. I didn't watch. I didn't have the time for it. But the little I saw, I was not moved. And if you just go back to what you and I have talked about during this entire draft season, all we said is that we want the Saints to draft a player that we pull up the cut ups and we just be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I see it. I got it. I don't see it with Clancy, bro. I don't got squid. I don't see it with Clancy, bro. I gotta bring out. I gotta bring out the bifocals. Like I don't see it, bro. I don't see it.
Nah, look, I checked them out earlier, bro. I was like, because here's my process. Okay, get the player, check out the measurables, blah blah blah. Then I just go to YouTube. First, I look at a highlight because I feel like, okay, give me a highlight so I can see how this player wins. You know what I'm saying? A highlight is a highlight. That's all it is. You don't take it and be like, this dude is great. You know what I'm saying? You just take it for what it is. It's a highlight of his best plays throughout the season. And it shows you how he wins. And I'm watching, I'm like, it's a highlight? Like, this is a highlight? Because I'm like, man, like, when he does win, it's like just slipping between the guard and the tackle, not with any kind of like crazy hand usage or nothing like that. It's just kind of slipping through the gap. You know what I'm saying? And, he does have like a nice little motor. But I'm not seeing, like, when I see him, I would think, okay, this is a solid third round, guy you could bring in the third round that can give you some rotation snaps at defensive tackle. That's the first thing that pops in my head when I see him. But like first rounder, and this is the thing with this draft. And I've listened to a lot of people talk about this. Dave Jeremiah, Michael Lombardi, basically say like, look, there's only really about 15 to 17 first round graded players in this draft. And then after that is like a big group of like solid, good starters to potential starters, like 50 of those. And then the rest is just, pick what you want. You know what I'm saying? And it met my eye because I'm not loving, like, we always have like that list of like 5 or 6 players. Like, man, I love this guy. Go get this guy. It's hard for me to come up with that with this draft, bro. Like, it is hard for me to come up with that.
Ryan, it's time to tell the listeners a secret.
Yo,
the infamous picture of you going viral on social media, sweating in the white shirt, looking confused. What people don't know is before that picture was taken, you had just mowed the lawn in the hot New Orleans heat.
Yep, sweating.
Don't know about you, but if you want to avoid becoming a meme and avoid becoming a viral hit on social media, I think instead of you mowing the lawn, there's a company out there that got you covered. That is Ground Up Landscaping Services. They service the greater New Orleans area. We've seen their work in person at the hashtag Saints for the Podcast meetup. The backyard area was outstanding.
Yeah, we know the owner of this company. He's an outstanding person, a really good dude. And look, I've seen pictures of his work done all around New Orleans. Beautiful work. Everything he takes care of, him and his crew, and he's good, honest, and on time. If you want to visit them, visit www.groundupnola.com, and you get the book a free quote. And these guys are licensed and insured. So this is not some, shade tree, guy to come cut your grass. These are dependable business professionals that will take care of your lawn. And they do beautiful work that you can check out on their Instagram and Facebook. They'll make your garden space spectacular from the ground up.
I muted myself.
Oh,
sorry, rookie mistake. I have 2, and if I wanted to like be extremely, I would say I have 3 because like I think CJ Stroud's going to fall in this draft further than people think, but that's a different story for another day. My 2 would be Jahmyr Gibbs and Jackson Smith-Njigba, and they are. And Gibbs potentially could fall to the Saints at 29. I also know, like, I have a type, and if you're an offensive player and you just got some pizzazz to you, or I'm just watching you and I'm just like, just biting my lip, and I'm just like, ooh, shit. Like that's always appealed to me, bro. And it's Tavon Austin, Todd Gurley, like, it's a long ass list. So that's always just been the type of players that Kadarius Toney that I've just had like this affinity for, but it's a small list, man. Like that in itself to me is very telling.
It is, man. And it just goes to show like every draft is different, and you just kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. And that doesn't mean you won't come away in this draft with like some great players. Look, with the 2016 draft wasn't like a great draft as far as like the whole draft as far as prospects. But, the Saints, they got Sheldon Rankins in the first round, man, but they got Michael Thomas. Like, he's been injured lately, but dude was on track to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? They got Von Bell, still a good starter in this league. David Onyemata, who just got big money from the Falcons. So, you could still, and even in drafts where you may not see those blue chip talent just pop off the tape, you could still find good players. And, the Saints is going to put this scouting heads on, bro, and, like, get, like, really just good, solid players, man. What happens in the first round, This is why it feels like a draft that they're going to try to target that 14 to 15 range to try to move up for a player, whoever that is. It would be crazy if they did that for somebody like Kancey. Like, that would be the dumbest shit. No way. That would be the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life, bro.
I don't think they would, because I think just as recently as the last couple of weeks, they were still debating him as a prospect if they would draft him. Right. So to me knowing that, to potentially then trade up that high to draft him, to like, I feel like the Clancy pick, and if he is the pick, or let's say it's Tommy from Northwestern. Mm. Obviously, it depends on who is available, but it comes across as we're drafting for need, we're not drafting for the best player.
You're desperate, just desperate.
Yep.
And to me, like DT is going to be a whole defensive line is going to have problems this year. To me, I'm just like Clancy is going to be. I would rather just live with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, yes. Take your lumps. Yes. Draft a player maybe later that meets some athletic potential. Check out the undrafted free agents, see what you can get. Maybe you can swing like a player that gets cut in September or something like that. And you just gotta, you're just gonna have to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna have a great D line this year, but don't go and take a player just because you have a need and pass up a potential player that could really impact the team, even if it's not high on your list of needs.
Doesn't that feel like that's what's going to happen though? Like you just
get
the sense. It feels you made the comparison as him as a player, and as annoyed as I was with the draft pick of Sheldon Rankins, his tape was by far better tape than Clancy's. Mm-hmm. It was like not even close. But to that point, the Rankins pick also was a pick of need. It was a pick of need. They had a very poor interior defensive line. They needed to address it. They drafted Rankins, and he was fine. He had a great 2018, and he had a pretty good 2017. But his career has been one season he was a great player, and then other seasons he was decent to okay, and then he was injured a lot. Like that's his career arc. He goes to New York. He goes to the Giants. He has a great first year in the Giants, and then his second year he gets hurt. So that's his career arc. This is also not to say that drafting for need sometimes doesn't work out, right? They drafted Malcolm Jenkins. That was 100% a pick of need. 100%. That pick worked out swimmingly.
Eric McCoy.
Pick of need, it worked out. I just feel like but Eric McCoy, offensive line, like to me, that is a more important pressing position than a defensive tackle, because the way I kind of see is that unless you're drafting a Chris Jones-esque like player in round one, it's hard to get an impact defensive tackle.
It's hard, bro. Like, especially at 29 or even in the 20s. You can say, okay, we got Cam Jordan at 24, but that was like a stupid historical draft in the defensive line. That draft was ridiculous. Just stacked all up and down. I think Justin Houston went in the third round that year. It's crazy. It's hard to do that, man. So to me, it's yes, it's a need, and they should, have certain players that are good that meet the criteria targeted. But if it just doesn't work out, they shouldn't break their back trying to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? You just got to take your lump. Every team has some kind of hole. Every team. You know what I'm saying? Sucks to have it on the D-line, but, it is what it is. You got to cook it up. You might have to blitz more. You might have, you know what I'm saying? You got to cook some things up.
I mean, DA, you're a defensive coordinator, bro. Figure it out, bro.
I mean, Greg Williams, look, that D-line with Greg Williams wasn't great. You know what I'm saying? You had Will Smith. He was straight. Charles Grant out there. You had, Dell and Hargrove out there. You know what I'm saying? Just guys. Just good dudes with passion, just trying to rally up some bounty bucks. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all it was. You know. So like, you just got to make it work, man. Like I don't, not everybody's going. Every team wants to be able to rush for every down without having to blitz.
Yeah, and drop 7 in coverage.
And drop 7 every defense coordinator. Everybody wants to do that, but it's hard finding those guys, man. It's hard.
Give me we're 3 days away from the draft. Give me 2 players that I'm gonna ask you 2 questions. Give me 2 players that you would want them to draft in round 1, and then give me your prediction of what is going to happen, like what the Saints are going to do in round 1.
Tell you, I would really be happy with, Kincaid or Mayer. I'd be really happy with Gibbs. I'd be really happy with Gibbs, bro. Like that should be dope. I don't think JSN is going to be available. Yes, they'll have to trade up.
I think with that Packers trade, bro, I think he going to Green Bay, bro.
It makes 100% sense. Like I could just see that happen a mile away. Look, I've dinged on Quentin Johnson all off season, but if they took him at 29, I would not be mad at all, bro. Wouldn't be mad at all.
Wait, the wide receiver,
wide receiver, yeah. But that's not like a player I love, but that's just one I just wouldn't be mad at. What's the guard? Who's the guard name? What is it, Torrance?
Yeah, Osiris Torrance.
Osiris Torrance. If he fell some kind of way and got there, I love it. Like I know a draft Twitter would be like, "Oh, guard." That would be a nice pick to me. Like that would be a nice pick to me. You know what I'm saying?
It'd be a pick that would make a lot of sense from the standpoint of, you have Reese insurance policy depending on where he is with his injuries. We know that Andres Pete gonna get hurt week 3, week 4, and this is his last year on the team for all intents and purposes.
Pete's not playing 17 games. It's
not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, bro.
It's not gonna happen. So it's like that pick would definitely get playing time this season. It's not even a question. So
it's
like,
a matter of when, not if.
Yeah, right. So like those are some picks I would like. If I was I'm trying to think, man. Like, man, on defense, I'm struggling, bro. Like, I'm struggling. It's funny. Like when I started this process, what's the kid from your old school, Texas Tech?
Tyree Wilson.
Yeah, he was like
an upgraded version of Marcus Davenport.
And he was like a late first rounder considered. Like I was like, okay, I could see the Saints draft this.
I was seeing him going high like very early in the process.
Bro, when I first looked, I was like, and I looked at all the mock drafts and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is somebody that'll be available for the Saints. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, this is a Saints pick. Easy.
Oh, it's 100%.
100%. And then, boom, he just shot up the draft boards to the point where they think he going number 2 overall. Like, what the world? And his production was not like that, but he's like, he looks the part.
And his tape is not like that, but it's just like, imagine, like it's as bad as trading up for Marcus Davenport was, and that was awful because it was 2 first-round picks, that he cost the team, and he set the team. That draft set the team back numerous amount of years. But even not a trade up, if Houston just decides to draft Tyree Wilson at number 2 overall, I mean, at some point it's like, how many? I want someone to do a study. It ain't gonna be us. It's not gonna be me and Jay. We do enough during draft time. But I need someone to do a study of what is the percentage rate when teams draft predominantly on potential and athleticism versus like production and athleticism.
Right. I would love to see that.
I would love to see it.
It's hard to quantify, but if you can, like, I would love to see how that works out. And the thing is, like, teams have done these studies. That's why grading exists. Like, that's why there's a grading. And that's like, when you grade, it's pretty much a set policy to exclude certain players out, exclude the extremes. And that's the whole point of grading, you know what I'm saying? But again and again, no matter what, you see teams say, man, I don't care if his grade, I don't care what his grade is, man. Look at this dude, man. This dude look like fucking, I don't know, like this He-Man coming out. Like, I want him.
Marcus Davenport and Peyton Turner are prime examples, bro. And we drafted both of them in the first round. One player costing 2 first-round picks. This other player who couldn't play in the last week of last season, and he was healthy. What?
And Davenport, who there were literally questions if he loved football, like before he even got with the Saints. Questions whether he loved football. I'm like, what in the world? And this is what drives me. Like, some Saints fans be like, look, the Saints do their homework. Like, if they feel good about it, it must be okay. Like, what are you watching? What team are you? This is the same team that said they did their due diligence on Deshaun Watson. We did our due diligence. Like, yeah, no, fuck you. Like, what? Damn due diligence. Like, are you crazy?
Those type of Saints fans are probably the same people that if law enforcement like shoots a black person, it was like, well, if that person that just like complied,
just comply. You know, if you comply,
you gotta trust what the establishment is putting out. Like, no,
you shouldn't have had a cell phone in your hand, bro. Like, well, I don't know.
I guarantee you they're the exact same fucking person. Anyway, I like all those names. Although I think you may have failed like some tests in school if you had to follow directions. They gave me like 5 or 6 players.
Right, yeah.
My 2 are DeMar Gibbs and Dalton Kincaid. I also wouldn't hate Michael Mayer, whatever. I think he may be there at 29.
I think so.
I don't think Dalton Kincaid will be, but I don't know, man. Like, it's weird because like tight end, like the ranges that tight ends go, can be all over the place sometimes, man.
Because they're so scheme specific, you know.
Yes.
I mean, some coaches don't even like what's my dude in
Mike Marks.
McDaniels.
Mike McDaniel.
Like, he's like, tight ends, you know, like, it's like, what? Like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody have their certain things. Somebody want blacker tight ends. Somebody want the wide. Some guys want dudes that can stretch out seams and all that. So, you know, it could, like, Kincaid could possibly be there. Or he could be close. He could get, you know, maybe he's like 23, 25. It's like, okay.
Wouldn't, like, he screams to me like he's there for like the Bengals, bro. Like that, like they are running to the podium.
It's like that's the perfect pick to me. Like that's just
100%, just nasty, perfect. Bro.
And you know the Bengals, bro. Like I swear they source like draft Twitter or whatever, because like they always make up like the perfect picks. I was like, damn, like I'm just gonna take what we thought you would take, huh?
Right. yes, they are. So I'm going Kincaid. I'm going Gibbs. You brought up Quentin Johnson, who I was speaking to someone recently because his draft range is truly fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told with some confidence that his range is anywhere between 12 and 40. Bruh, that is a massive fucking range.
I believe it, bro. It makes 100% sense to me. Because, like, you know, you have the people that would look at, okay, this is a big dude that can stretch the field. That alone is enough. Big body, stretch the field, we can figure something out with him. Then you got your guys that are like, look, we want route runners, dudes that great hands, this, that, and other. They ain't gonna like him. And I'm one of those guys. Like I like route running and good hands. Like that will win me over every day. But I could see this team needing like a big dude that could stretch. You know what I'm saying? Like they could use that. You know what I'm saying? He was like a number 1 in college, TCU. He wouldn't have to be a number 1 with the Saints. He would just need to be, you know, where did they pick Meacham in 2007? They picked him at like 20, 30, something like that.
No, it was 27, 28.
Yeah, something like that. Like I could see him playing that type of role. Not saying he'll be like Meacham, but like that type of role of a receiver, just long stretch receiver. Gonna have games where he go off. Gonna have games where it's like, where you at? That's the type of player I see him as. And that's a useful player in the NFL. Like I'm not saying that's something you don't draft. Maybe a little too spicy in the first round, but like I said, this first round is not like every first round.
It's not.
This first round is like whoever you pick at 29 is going to be very similar to the person you pick at 40 and possibly similar to the person you pick in the third round. So you just got to collect players and just get the best players you can.
I want to stay with that point you just made, because this is not just Saints specific. I just feel like every team in the NFL should just be fucking taking notes of something that just this little thing that came out the last couple of weeks, and it just really just popped in my eye of just like, as much as an enabler he is as a coach, like he gets it. So the news comes out, and I don't know if it was Andy Reid push or if it was just number 15 push, but number 15 of the Kansas City said, you know what, I'm going to work out with Zay Flowers. Where are you at? Set up a private workout to have Zay Flowers meet him somewhere, and they just have a workout together.
Man,
which to me, like, this is as bad as that fucking Sean Payton went to Lubbock, Texas fucking report that came out. To me, this is signaling that the Chiefs are not staying at 32.
Yeah.
They plan potentially to move up in the draft and likely draft Zay Flowers. And it's just like, this team gets it. They don't have the moral compass right. Like, that's completely gone. But in terms of like, they have a generational quarterback talent, one of the best quarterbacks to play football. And it's like, all right, let's go give him another weapon. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's with the Patriots now. Harmon, he's gone. All right, we gotta replenish. We got MBS, we got Sky Moore, but nah, man, we got Travis Kelce, but he's getting older. We gotta add more to our guy, because when we give him weapons, our window stays open even longer.
Right. Let's not rest on our laurels. Let's go forward.
It's so drastically different than how a lot of teams in the NFL do with their team building.
Oh, bro, don't get me started, bro. And it's like, and the Saints fall for that sometimes too. But I will say one thing they do that I do like that they've done is they take all their resources available. Now, they don't use them for the right things all the time, but they look at their resources available as a holistic thing. Like, we got trades, we got draft picks, we got free agency, we got undrafted free agency.
They do look
at it all as one big tool to acquire talent.
Yes.
And then they go get it. Like I said, they don't use it right all the time, but that's how they approach it. Where some teams, like, I remember, like, like some of the talk heads would be like, 80% of the Green Bay Packers are drafted by the same team. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, that means nothing to me.
Nothing.
Like,
are they good? Are they good players or are they not?
Right. Like, do they get a trophy for that? Like, it's like, that means nothing to me. Like, I don't care if you drafted all your players. I don't care if you got undrafted, if you signed through free agency, if you traded for them. It don't matter. Like, these are the tools given to you to attain talent. And if you're not using all of them, like, you ain't doing it right. Me, you know what I'm saying? But I got a question for you, bro. That's something I've just been thinking about. Like, I put it like this. What do the Saints, like, if the Saints are going to win the Super Bowl this year, no. We know that. But if you're a team, you have to approach it as if you can. And the moves they made, they're trying to, obviously. They went and got Derek Carr and all that.
Right.
So what can the Saints do in this draft to beat, Philly, San Francisco? Like, we know they should be able to take care of the South. Yeah, maybe not. But I'm just saying.
Okay.
But let's look past the South. San Francisco, Philly, Giants, maybe. You know, like I really can't think of anybody else. Like, but you know, Philly and San Francisco are gonna be there. You know they're gonna be there. What does this team has to do to get over that hump?
Is it just for next season, or this is like
say the next 2 years, next 2 seasons?
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
There was a time when sunlight turned the earth into a gallery, when elegant estates welcomed works of art that drew us closer and closer together. It was a captivating time. It was spring, this spring at Biltmore. Plan your visit or overnight stay so you can enjoy the marvelous works of Chihuly while every corner of Biltmore blooms. Reserve now to get spring savings at Biltmore.com.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
I'm gonna answer this
without let me precursor without firing DA, bro, because we know.
No, yeah, I get it. My answer to this question is that they would, for me, and I think a lot of it would depend on how the top 10 to top 13 shakes out. But if it's gonna sound a little spicy, but if CJ Stroud gets out of the top 10, he starts falling to 11, 12, 13. I think you got to make a call, bro. That's
you think he could drop that far, bro?
I don't. I don't think he gets by Vegas.
I would drive up to Atlanta and smack the shit out of Terry Stroud. If he let CJ Stroud pass him, I would smack the shit out of him and put it on TikTok. I swear. Like, bro, are you kidding me?
Correct. But right, so I do think he's going to fall. So, and I don't like being this person that like kind of like maybe like spoils thing. But I also think that, and this is going to sound completely off crazy, but I've said this in the Discord. I think Will Levis could go too, bro.
Oh,
so if Will Levis goes to the Texans, which is crazy to think about of the last couple of months, because last couple of months it was like his quote unquote stock went from like he was getting drafted in the top 10 to like shit, he might fall to Tampa. Now it's kind of back to where it kind of was like at the beginning of like college football season, that he could be drafted in the top 5. If Will Levis goes 2, so let's assume Carolina goes Bryce Young, Will Levis may go 2. At 4, if Indy doesn't take CJ Stroud, and let's say they opt and go Anthony Richardson, like to me, the team that would, if I'm Detroit, I'm running to the podium. I'm running to the podium.
Easy.
But if he gets past, I mean, it seems unlikely, but like we saw the same thing with Justin Fields, and that was not that long ago. So, but if he gets past 5, 6, and if he especially gets past 7 or 8 with the Raiders and the Falcons, bro, then you got the Bears, who obviously seem content with Justin Fields, and you got Philly at 10. Like the next landing spot he could go would be 11 to the Titans. Right? If for whatever reason he doesn't go there, I'm calling, bro. I'm got to get to 12. I'm calling Houston and saying I'm offering you 29, and I'm offering you the 2024 first round draft pick. Maybe something more needs to be added to it. I'm going up. I'm getting my guy, because what the NFL has shown me historically lately is that if you do not have, like, unless you have the guy or closest to a guy, something else on your team has to be elite for you to have a chance. Perfect example, San Francisco 49ers. Like, their defense has been elite-ish the last couple of years. But that is such a thing that we've had this conversation that defense is rarely maintained year to year. Right. Like, you could be an elite defense one year, the next year you could be absolute trash or just be average. The thing that typically stays the same is having a guy at quarterback. So if you're asking me what's the easiest way for the Saints to win the Super Bowl, probably not this next season, but like, let's say 2025, CJ Stroud, let's fucking go. That would be me.
That's your path to the Super Bowl. Okay.
That's my path, bro. That's my path. Other than that,
ain't no chance.
I'm not going to say there's no chance, but goddamn, I think with this coaching staff, they would have to have a lot of breaks and get fucking lucky. And I think a big thing is that Derek Carr would need to play closest to the level he played at his peak when he was with the Raiders.
Mm. I agree.
I think that's crucial.
And that's my point. Like all this talk about defensive line and all that. And look, I love defense. I love defense. Love it. But when you look at the way the league is right now, bro, I'm not saying you ignore defense. Like, defense is still important. You saw just last year, Philly had like the number one defense in the league. The San Francisco 49ers was in a, NFC championship. They had a great defense. Like, defense is still important. But to me, bro, you have to overwhelm team with weapons, bro. You have to overwhelm them. And it's like, to me, if I'm looking at this draft, the way it's set up, I'm like, man, look, I'm about to go get a running back. I'm going to get Gibbs. I'm going to get, one other wide receiver. And we going on attack mode. Yes, our defense might take a step back, but it should be like, 31st defense in the league. Maybe they step back to the middle of the pack. But I want my offense humming, man. I want to give Derek Carr every reason to succeed. I want him having options at every position group. Wide receiver, tight end, running back. I want the offensive line studded out. Like, I'm going on attack mode, bro. And to me, like, that's the only path. It would still be very unlikely. Like, very unlikely.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%, though.
But when you got an offense, bro, anything can happen. And if you could score, like, when you got a good offense in this league, the way it's set up, it really doesn't matter how good your defense is. It really doesn't matter, man, because the rules are set up against you. And, like that, we've seen it so many times, Saints playing great defense, and then it's like, 2 minutes left in the game, it's offense time. It's like who can get points first and last in the game. So I just feel like this is one of those seasons where, maybe, the defensive coordinator, head coach can either eschew defense and just get this offense humming, and then worry about the defense later if they want a chance.
I will say, I hope that this brings some solace to Saints fans before draft night, because obviously we still have to wait and see how it turns out. I do feel like the front office understands and kind of wants the same thing as well.
Yeah.
I know earlier in the process of this draft, they were really looking to potentially to move up. I can't say who the player that they were eyeing, because I don't know, but if I was a betting person, I firmly believe that they saw Jackson Smith-Njigba's workout. They had a very long conversation with him the night before his pro day, and it was a situation where they fell in love with him as a prospect, and were trying to go up and get him. I don't think that's feasible because the cost for them to move up that high, because them not having a second round pick next year, would be them giving up their first round pick in 2024. So don't see that happening. Because of the Foster Moreau situation, and obviously how that played out, I get the sense that they want to add a tight end in the draft. Now, where they want to add a tight end yet to be seen. So I know they want to add something tight end wise. They want to add a running back at some point in the draft too. So that at least is encouraging to hear. Now you just got to go out and just get the players. Like it's good to like hear that's what their plan is. Okay, now you got to show us.
Yeah.
Like now show us.
And look, Drew Brees was at the Zurich Classic golf tournament, and he talked about it. He was like, he sees Derek Carr at that point in his career where he's played so much, he's seen all the defenses, he understands the ins and outs of offense, what to do as a quarterback. And, those mid-30s, those early 30s, those are prime years for quarterbacks. And I'm not saying Derek Carr is going to hit that or not. Maybe we've seen his prime already. But it would be nice if his prime is, maybe this year, next year.
Right.
Maybe not, but maybe that'll be nice. To see him, maybe, not like fucking be like MVP or nothing, but nice 34 touchdown, 11 interception ratio, 65 plus percentage, and just play some good football. That'll be nice. And to help that happen, get that man some weapons. And they're on the right path with that. They got Michael Thomas, Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson, Alvin Kamara. But you could use a little more, man. You could add a little more to that.
Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams, Brian Edwards, Braylon Edwards, what's his name?
Brian. Every time, Ryan. Every time. So let me ask you this. I want to ask you this question, and then I want to just quickly hit on the whole Aaron Rodgers trade finally happening, finalizing, and then we'll get out of here. Don't want this to go too long. But give me your prediction. This is Monday night. Daniel from the UK has already kind of said, like, we have some type of game set up of if they trade up, the Saints trade up, depending on how high they trade up, like, we got to start doing some shots. Whew. But what is your... And depending on how high they move up, depends on how much and what we're drinking.
Bruh.
Give me your prediction. What is going to happen draft night? So I want you to tell the listeners, are the Saints going to stay where they are? And if they do, give me the player you think they're going to draft. And if they move up, because there is no moving down. If they move up, although I will say this, and I don't know how this would work out, how this would play out. They're not, something just tells me they're not a smart enough team to do this. And I know that sounds bad, but like, let's say there's been a lot of Hendon Hooker buzz lately that he might even go as high as 7 to the Raiders, right? But let's say that buzz doesn't come to fruition. But there's still a team who missed out on a quarterback that loves him as a prospect, and they really want to get that 5th-year option, blah, blah, blah. They calling up Mickey at 29 and say, hey, we want to trade back in the first round. We'll give you our second this year at pick, blah, 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 and we'll give you a first next year.
Ooh.
You got to make that trade, right? Like, you got to make that trade.
Like, no question. Like, I was like, no. We said it through their first and next year. Yes.
I would do it even if they offered a second this year and a second next year. I'm still doing that trade.
I still do it. In this draft? Yes.
Easy.
Saints ain't doing it, though. Not gonna happen. I will buy everyone a drink at the draft party. I promise you.
Not gonna happen at all, bro.
It's not gonna happen.
Give me the prediction. What's gonna happen Thursday night?
With the 29th pick of the NFL draft, 2023.
They saying at 29? Okay.
The Saints select Adetomiwa Adibawar.
Oh, look at that pronunciation!
Gonna get him, baby. That's gonna be the guy. That's him.
Tommy.
Old Tommy.
That's
gonna be the pick, bro.
Okay. I you know what? That one makes me squint a little bit, but I get it. Like I can see it more. Okay. I suspect them to trade up. I had a draft board up, but I closed it. I'm gonna say from 29 to about 20, anywhere between 23 and 25. That's the range I'm gonna put out there. So it's, a slight trade. I don't even think it's gonna cost them pick 40 to do this trade. Maybe the third rounder, whatever. Or maybe they'll give whatever. Maybe a third rounder next year, whatever.
Yeah, probably 2 thirds.
In that trade, and when they trade up, the player I think that they will end up drafting will be Jamar Gibbs, running back, Alabama.
Ooh,
we just doing predictions right here, bro. I'm just predicting.
I know the draft nerds would be like, you get too much for a running back. I will be taking my shirt off, sweating.
I would love it, bro. Would love it. Okay, so let me see what that range is. Yeah, so they picking at 29. Yeah, I think 25 would be. We're actually probably 20. I think they would have to get to 20. So they would have to go from 29 to 20. So that's
where Dallas pick at.
Dallas picks 26.
Okay.
But I say 20 because the teams after 20 could all draft him except the Jags and the Giants, right? So the Seahawks are picking at 20. If they got to 20, I think that it all depends on 19 too, because the Bucs are picking at 19. And I could see the Bucs going Gibbs, or they could go quarterback as well. If one falls to them, they could be a Hendon Hooker team. But if he gets past the Bucs, I think they call up Seattle, make a deal, because then the next bivvy of teams, you have the Chargers, who this is probably Austin Eckler's last year in LA. You have the Ravens, who knows what the fuck they're doing, but seems like a Raven pick. You have the Vikings at 23, who Dalvin Cook maybe traded this draft week.
Yeah, so he can go any other places, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you got, to me, if Gibbs gets past Tampa Bay at 19, you would have to get to 20.
You got to call, bro. You got to
get to 20. That's
what's the most you give up?
To go to 19 to 20?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure our dude David Ty Hartley could tell us what it would cost, but that's a 9-pick jump. I would go a third next year, and I don't know.
If they told you, give me 40. If they told you, give me 40 and a third next year, you do it?
No, I would not. I would stay at 29 and draft whoever, and I would draft either Charbonnet or Tyjae Spears later in the
year. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's me. But if it's me, I don't know if you've ever gotten to like bidding wars on like Poshmark or eBay or
no, I have. Yes.
StockX or GOAT, bruh. If it's me, if I'm the Saints, bro, I'm starting off with, I'll give you a third next year. Seattle, Zach Bond and Traquan Smith. Let's go, baby.
Bruh, throw some of these players in there. Dang.
Give you a whole stew of them bitches. Anyway, you want Adam Troutman too? Take him too. Bye.
Please.
Bye.
Matter of fact, I'm throwing a 7 just to take him.
You want to hear the funniest shit ever, bro? I was playing our dude G in the AFC Championship game in one of our Madden leagues, in our Saints Twitter podcast Madden league, and I get to like the 2-yard line or something, and long story short, it ends up being fourth and 2. Me trying to like score a touchdown to go up 7 points in this very tense game. And G had been doing a pretty good job of like stopping the run, and I wasn't going to be able to run into the end zone. So on this 4th down play, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to try to like do like a little sneaky little play action pass, and he's not going to expect it. So sure enough, that's what I do. Adam Troutman is wide fucking open, Ryan, and he drops the fucking ball in the end zone, bro. I almost tossed my fucking controller, bro.
Accuracy, dude.
And I tell you, I was living. Anyway, so that's our predictions. Let's hit on this Aaron Rodgers thing really quickly. Man, this is what happens when you have no leverage as an NFL team, bro. Because in my humblest opinions, Jets got taken to the cleaners, man.
Yeah, man. And here's the thing: you say they had no leverage, but they did. Like it was all mental. It was all mental. Like Rodgers was not playing for the Packers this year. Period.
Correct. He was not. But I guess from their perspective, they didn't want to look like Boo Boo the Fool by like, oh, we signed
exactly.
We signed Alan Lazard and we signed blah 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 blah. And like, what if the Packers potentially, right? But like, what if the Packers decided they wanted to trade Aaron Rodgers into like the 49ers? I don't think they would have done that because it's NFC. But like, let's just say, right? And then it's just like you just stuck because you don't got a pick to get a quarter. Like, you fucked, bro. You fucked.
Exactly.
I think
they blinked.
Yep. Ryan Gutekunst fucking picked up on that shit. And they played chicken, and the Packers won, bro. The Packers won.
All the Packers had to do was just sit there. They were like,
that's it.
Just okay.
We got Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers not going to be here. Like, we good either way. Like, we don't want him. Y'all do.
Right. And they had to look at, the salary and all that. And there was going to come to a point where they had to move him, but they were ready to wait. And where the, Jets, they about to start OTAs and all that stuff. They want the quarterback in the building. So they blinked. And I get it. Like, I can't fault them for trying to make it happen because it's like, okay, let's just get this done. You know what I'm saying? But to me, I just look at the player. I just about to Aaron Rodgers last year, bro. I'm like, I don't know. Like, is he going to like a hugely upgraded team from the Packers to the Jets? And like, I think the offense is better, but I don't know, bro. Like, he looked pretty washed to me. Could be wrong. I could be wrong. But it's a gamble. But I can't fault the Jets for trying, because man,
no, I can't fault either, man.
If you get a chance, and you get a chance at Aaron Rodgers at the first ballot Hall of Fame easily, you got to take that shot. But yeah, I was like, when I saw that, and then they're like, they get a conditional first rounder if he plays over 65%. It's like, damn, man, y'all couldn't add nothing to that, like, I don't know, 35 touchdowns or something like that, like,
right.
He's gonna play over 65 cents, so you're giving up that first rounder next year, period. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. But look. But even like, it's Super Bowl or bust. Like, if they don't win the Super, like, you get to the first round of the playoffs and lose, it's like, okay. Like, what did we do here? I don't know, bro. Woo, that's a tough one.
Tough one, man. It's a tough one.
That thirst, though, baby. Thirst.
Listen, man. We all been there, bro.
Yeah.
As a person, and we have all been there. Not just sports related, just in general, bro.
Just thirst.
It's just absolutely insane that like this Lamar thing is
just sitting there, bro. Lamar, right there.
Just sitting. There's a thought, and I don't know how true it is, that if there's one person and one owner that is crazy enough to do some crazy shit, that would be like Jim Irsay. And like at 4, he doesn't go quarterback. Like even if the one that they want is there, they draft a defensive player or offensive line, whoever. And after the draft, like after round 1, they call up Baltimore. And they say, and Jim Irsay says, all right, maybe he calls up Lamar and says, hey, this is the contract we're offering you. Boom. Most of it's fully guaranteed. Calls up Baltimore, and they agreed to trade 2024, 2025 first round picks to the Ravens. But to me, I go back to with like if you're the Ravens, like to me, that's a trade in theory if it's going to happen like that. Like the Ravens. If I'm the Ravens, I'm like, no. If y'all doing this, you gotta draft the quarterback I want at 4. Like draft the quarterback that we want as a team. Draft that player at 4, and then you can include that player in the trade, and then maybe you just need to give us next year's first round draft pick, and then there you go.
Ooh, that'd be spicy.
So some I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, we are gonna just put a pin on things draft wise for right now. It is quickly approaching. I need to do a little packing tonight, so I don't have all my packing to do tomorrow. Almost here, the draft, and I know we focus a lot on round 1, but like the draft is obviously so much more than just round 1. Yeah. We know this, that so many starters, Pro Bowlers, All Pros, blah blah blah, has just been picked and selected throughout all the rounds of the draft. And what the Saints have, Chris Olave and we're still waiting to see what Trevor Penning is from last year's first round class. But like the Saints typically have done their work in rounds other than round 1. So I know that they have a kind of a bivvy of picks throughout this draft. They really, I feel like we say this every year, but they have to have a good draft, man. They can't have a 2020 draft. They can't have a 2018 draft. They need to have a good ass, solid fucking draft, man. It's
getting
crucial.
thin. It's getting thin, man. They need to replenish.
They do. Anyway, thank y'all for joining us. We appreciate it. Hopefully the Saints don't fuck up this shit too bad. But we shall see. It was good. It was funny seeing the old Peyton Turner video, up again, because that was like our moment of like just a little trending when it happened. Yeah, and it was nice, and that video made it down the airline, and everyone in the Saints organization saw it, and apparently they weren't happy with it. But look, 2 years later, it looks like we were right. So. Because to quote "Who that homo," we are still asking who. So who? Wow, who? Anyway, thank y'all for joining us. Again, if you're a Patreon, if you want to join us in New Orleans for the live stream draft party, I believe there's 2 or 3 spots still open. You can DM me or Ryan on Twitter. You can send a DM to our Instagram account, send us an email, however you want to get in contact with us. Please do it ASAP if that's something that you're wanting to do. Thank you guys for all the support. We truly appreciate it. We'll be back sometime this week. I can't tell you when, because we're going to be partying, drinks, bobbing around the cities. I can't tell you when. Cannot tell you when. But we will be back recapping the draft. We're going to recap round 1. We'll recap the other rounds, and we'll just put a nice bow on everything to close out the 2023 draft season. And with that, we're out.
Peace.
There was a time when sunlight turned the earth into a gallery, when elegant estates welcomed works of art that drew us closer and closer together. It was a captivating time. It was spring, this spring at Biltmore. Plan your visit or overnight stay so you can enjoy the marvelous works of Chihuly while every corner of Biltmore blooms. Reserve now to get spring savings at Biltmore.com.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.